Hello, and welcome to a Combat With guide for Hearts of Iron 4, NoStepBack. Let's get this out of the way first. The Combat With has changed to 30 With and 15 With. If that's all you needed to know, it was an honor to have you here, because now we're going to go into a more in-depth explanation onto why those two numbers are. So now on your screen is the Combat With for every single province type, and the corresponding widths that you should build your divisions at to fight in these specific tiles. Now, as we can see, plains, desert have a 90 and 45. So what this is telling you is that the combat width for a single province is going to be 90, which means you can fit 3 30 width divisions in there, or you can fit a couple of 15 width divisions. And then every province that joins in the battle will add an additional 45. So this is why the combat width is 30 and 15. There is more plains provinces in this game than anything else, and also desert on top of that. So building combat widths underneath this is not very recommended. The one exception to this rule is the mountain. The mountains have to be a width of combat width of 25, because theirs is at 75 for the province, and it is 25 width for reinforcing. Otherwise, you build 30 widths and 15 widths. And as we can see, if we go to the forest, it's a weird combat width of 21, and you can't go lower than that. To get optimal builds, you can't go lower than that. Jungles, it's the exact same. Hills, it's either you build a 20 width division or you build a 10 width division. And marshes, I don't know why you're building infantry in marshes. Don't do it. But if you did, it's 26 width and 13 width. And for urban, it's 32 width and 16 width. The urban one is the only other exception to the rule that I could see you actually building specific combat widths for, and that's just a whole key points, so like Stalingrad or Leningrad. Otherwise, just remember, it is 30 width, 15 width, and then mountains, it's 25 width. So now, we're going to go over, and we're going to look at some templates. These templates are, in my opinion, good. Let's get this out of the way. In my opinion, these templates are useful and good. I'm not stating that they're the best, but they will give you something to play with. So now we're going to go over them. The doctrine we have is Modern Warfare, Mobile Infantry, Modern Blitzkrieg. So, the 30 width. This is my standard 30 width that I build. Basically, you give your infantry guys a shovel, and they have 100 org, and you tell them to sit there and not attack, and basically just take damage for you. That's all they're really there for, to fill the line while your tanks and motorized infantry do the rest. Here's a 15 width example. I would assume the 30 width is better, because even though the attacks are now split, they don't account for the fact that the modifiers on top of things still apply, so having a bigger division is still technically better. At least how I'm reading the notes, it is. So this is a 15 width. You have to drop all your infantry and basically have an artillery gun and get the infantry. So I wouldn't build this. This is very bad. Here's another example. If this is an artillery division, this is meant to blow through enemy infantry with your infantry. So here we have a support artillery, armored recon, logistics, and the light flame tank company. Because the light flame tank company adds a whole bunch of attack modifiers on top of this. The only other thing you could do here is add support rocket artillery. This is increase your soft attack. You can drop something here if you don't need it. Otherwise, it's 6 infantry and 6 artillery. This has a rather low org for infantry division, but it's meant to blow through them. An alternate to this would be the this one, which is 9 infantry and 4 artillery, same template. Basically, it just has a higher org, but it has lower soft attack, quite considerably lower soft attack. So now we're going to get into, again, my opinion, good/okay build for your light tanks. Armored recon, engineers, support artillery, logistics, and signals. And they have 10 light tanks and 5 motorized, which will give you 43 organization. Now, the reason they're not mechanized is you really shouldn't be using mechanized with light tanks unless you want to do some weird build or something like that. Here's a 30 width design for your medium tanks. I'm not claiming it's very good, but it's okay, at least from what I've experienced. Armored recon, engineers, support, logistics, signals, 4 medium tanks, 5 artillery, or 5 motorized, and then 4 SP artillery. And it has a good, decent piercing, and okay hard attack. It'll do okay-ish against other tanks. Not great or anything, but it's more meant for general purpose and for killing infantry. Here's your 15 width motorized. Now this is a 115 width that I would actually use and consistently. All the support companies are basically the same as previous. 6 motorized and 1 motorized artillery. Now the reason I would use this one is basically after your tanks punch through, you need to fill in the gaps so that the AI doesn't attack it in the rear. And for do this, you need to have fast guys that aren't the spearhead, but will definitely hold out against a persistent attack. This is why the 65 org is good. So use these guys for that role. So now we're going to the specialized divisions. So 25 width mountain. You need 25 width to fight mountains effectively. So this is an example of a template. This template has a lot higher artillery placement in it to mountaineer ratio, which leads to a lower organization of 45, but a higher attack of 283, which is 5 mountaineers and 5 artillery. Another design you could go for is 8 mountaineers and 3 artillery. You're dropping soft attack for a lot higher org of 65. Again, it's completely up to you on which template you use. Both are perfectly acceptable. Marines. Marines, same thing. You build 6 Marines and you build 6 artillery. This gets you a very high soft attack that you're going to be able to punch through in landing. You have a rather low, well, it's very high org. It's 47, but if you want to go higher, there's an additional template you can use, which is 9 Marines and 4 artillery, which gets you 60, almost 64 org, but lowers your soft attack. So up to you on which one you would use. Only use these 2 if you're landing in the beginning of the game and it's not that hard to land. As soon as you go into contested landings with good divisions, you're going to need Amtracs and SP artillery. Otherwise, you're not breaking through. It ain't happening. So in that, all you do, in this template, it's just 6 Amtracs and 6 SP artillery. Gets you a good high soft attack and decent org. The alternate to this is you just have a higher Amtrac battalions compared to SP. All you do is basically just have 4 SP artillery and 9 Amtrac battalions. Gets you higher org. 60 org compared to 47, just depending on what you need. Paratroopers. Paratroopers can have exactly paratroopers in their battalions. There's no need to do this. The best is up to you. If you want a VP snipe, which with paratroopers you can, 2 width is the best. If you want to have paratroopers and meander around, 10 width. Otherwise, you can build them 30 width, 15 width. Does not matter, really. But this is a good 30 width template to actually hold out against something if you need to do that. Here is a mid-war version of the template for medium tanks. It's a 30 width. Basically, all it just has is mechanized. So it just increases the hardness of the division up to 69%. It's good on that part. Not claiming it's the best or most optimum, but against the AI, it will destroy them. And our last one is going to be the city fighting. It's basically just a 32 width infantry division, and 32 width for cities is the best. So I wouldn't use a 16 width in a city. There's literally no point. So 32 width if you're going to build a specialized division to defend a city. Again, you can play around with this, but this is just a basic infantry template. Okay, so with that, we went over all the combat widths for the basically for all the provinces in the game. We went over a few templates that you can use until some meta is developed, or until somebody gets really into the numbers and can crack them. Otherwise, 30 width and 15 width will get you good on what you need to do. So if you found this guide helpful, leave a like, subscribe, comment. There's a link in the description. It goes to my Discord. You can ask me questions there if you need to. Other than that, there's a light tank video posted now somewhere. If you want to watch that, cool. If not, cheerio. Other than that, have a nice day.